Imagine a world without poverty, ignorance, or competition. A society built on pure reason, cooperation, and universal happiness. Now imagine a millionaire industrialist who believed he could blueprint this paradise and build it, not in theory, but on the American frontier. In 1825, Robert Owen bought an entire town in Indiana and launched New Harmony, one of history's most ambitious, and spectacularly chaotic utopian experiments. It promised heaven on earth. It delivered infighting, freeloading, and failure within 2 years. Robert Owen was already a sensation. A self-made Welshman, he had transformed the New Lanark cotton mills in Scotland into a model industrial community. He provided decent housing, fair wages, banned child labour under 10, and opened groundbreaking schools, including the world's first infant school. New Lanark was profitable, humane, and internationally famous. Owen believed he had cracked the code. Human character was formed by environment. Create the right environment and you create perfect people. Poverty and crime weren't inherent flaws. They were products of flawed systems. Competition, private property, irrational religion. America, with its open spaces and spirit of reinvention, seemed the perfect laboratory for his grandest experiment. In 1824, Owen learned that a German pietist sect, the Harmonists led by George Rapp, were selling their established, thriving community on the banks of the Wabash River in Indiana. They had already built solid houses, workshops, mills, and cultivated fields. It seemed like the perfect turnkey operation for Owen's vision. In early 1825, Owen purchased the town of Harmony, some 30,000 acres, for $150,000. He renamed it New Harmony and issued a global invitation. Come join the community of equality. He envisioned a society where property would be held in common, decisions made collectively, education would be secular and scientific, and human potential would finally be unleashed. He delivered a rousing speech to the US Congress, outlining his vision, attended by President James Monroe and future presidents. Excitement was palpable. The response was overwhelming, but not entirely as Owen had hoped. A diverse flood of people descended upon New Harmony. There were brilliant scientists, educators, and artists drawn by Owen's fame and ideals. Figures like geologist William McClure, the father of American geology, naturalist Thomas Say, artist Charles Alexandre Lesueur, and educational reformer Joseph Neff. They were dubbed the boatload of knowledge when they arrived via keelboat. But alongside the intellectuals came a motley crew of idealists with no practical skills, opportunists looking for a free ride, religious fanatics, and eccentrics of every stripe. Owen, in his initial enthusiasm, had accepted nearly everyone who applied, assuming the cooperative environment would naturally reform them. This proved disastrously naive. The community quickly swelled to over 800 people, far more diverse and less cohesive than the disciplined harmonists they replaced. Problems emerged almost immediately. There was a critical shortage of skilled labor and basic necessities. Farmers clashed with intellectuals. Craftsmen argued with theorists. While the scientists eagerly catalogued the local flora and fauna, buildings fell into disrepair and crops went unplanted. Owen's initial plan was for a gradual transition to common property, but impatient residents pushed for immediate equality. This led to confusion and resentment. Those who worked hard felt exploited by those who did little. The absence of private property, intended to foster cooperation, instead seemed to stifle initiative. Governance became a nightmare. Owen initially established a preliminary society, but struggles over leadership and rules led to constant reorganizations. Multiple constitutions were drafted and abandoned. Debates raged over everything from religious observance. Owen was a staunch rationalist, but many residents were deeply religious, to the distribution of food and clothing. Factions formed, gossip spread, and accusations flew. The dream of harmony dissolved into bickering and inefficiency. Owen himself wasn't always present. He spent considerable time traveling, promoting his ideas, and trying to raise funds, leaving the day-to-day chaos to his sons and associates. His brief returns often involved further reorganizations that only added to the confusion. The community lacked clear leadership and practical direction. Brilliant minds debated geological strata, while the fences needed mending. By 1827, just 2 years after its hopeful launch, New Harmony was imploding. Disillusioned residents began leaving. Several splinter communities formed nearby, attempting different models of cooperation, but most failed quickly. Owen, facing mounting debts and realizing the experiment was unsalvageable, dissolved the communal structure. He sold off parcels of land to individual residents or groups. Lawsuits followed as disputes arose over property and finances. Owen admitted defeat, having lost a substantial portion of his personal fortune, estimated at around $200,000, the equivalent of millions today. The community of equality was dead. Critics gloated, calling it proof that socialism was inherently flawed, that human nature was fundamentally selfish and competitive. Owen's grand blueprint for paradise had crashed against the messy realities of human behavior and practical management. But was New Harmony a total failure? While the communal experiment itself lasted only 2 years, its legacy proved surprisingly enduring. The concentration of scientific and educational talent Owen had attracted remained in the area. William McClure continued his educational work, establishing libraries and schools. New Harmony became a significant center for scientific research, particularly in natural history, for decades. The town hosted one of the first free public libraries, a free public school system, and advocated for women's rights and abolitionism long before they became mainstream. The failure of New Harmony provided valuable, if harsh, lessons for future utopian and cooperative movements. It highlighted the challenges of implementing radical social change, the difficulties of managing diverse groups without clear structures, and the persistent tension between individual desires and communal ideals. Owen's dream of instantly transforming human nature through environment proved overly optimistic. Yet, the impulse behind New Harmony, the belief that society could be rationally organized for the betterment of all, the emphasis on education and science, the critique of unchecked capitalism, continued to resonate. Owen's chaotic paradise failed, but the questions it raised about equality, community, and the pursuit of a better world echoed through the 19th century and beyond. It remains a fascinating cautionary tale of grand ideals colliding with intractable reality, a testament to the enduring human dream of building heaven on earth, even when the blueprints lead straight to chaos. Utopian dreams often promise perfection, but deliver unforeseen consequences. Subscribe to uncover more historical experiments and the surprising ways their failures shaped our world.